You know that quiet voice in your head? The one that speaks to you when no one else is listening.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever stopped to notice how often it's maybe less than kind?
It's so common, isn't it?
Yeah. Today, we're diving deep into self-love, but let's be clear. This isn't the superficial, shiny version you might scroll past on social media.
Right. Not the Instagram version.
Exactly. This is about cultivating a really profound internal kindness. And it begins with something pretty simple, just noticing the way you speak to yourself.
It's remarkable, really. That inner critic, that automatic voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's with us constantly.
All the time.
We hear it more than anyone else's voice.
Yeah.
Yet we almost never question its authority. It gets so ingrained, so much a part of our mental landscape, we often overlook its immense impact.
That's true.
So let me pose a challenge, baby, to you listening. When you make a mistake, maybe when you're alone or just tired, what do you actually say to yourself?
That's a powerful question.
That internal dialogue holds huge power. Power we often just concede without even realizing it.
It truly does. And what's interesting is how insidious that overlooking can be. Mm-hmm. For so many of us, that critical voice just becomes background noise.
Exactly.
So today, we're going to explore a really personal, a real story from our source material about one individual's journey, how she slowly, gently started to change that inner voice.
The cruel one, the tired one.
Yeah, the one that forgot she was human. Our mission for this deep dive is, first to uncover the surprising origins of this internal critic, and then extract the gentle, honest, and actually remarkably effective steps she took.
Mm-hmm.
Cultivate a kinder internal world for herself. Think of this as maybe your shortcut to understanding the mechanics of self-compassion.
Sounds good. Where do we start?
Okay, so to really get how this critical voice takes root, let's dive into an anecdote from our source. It really illustrates this perfectly. It describes a 10-year-old girl.
Okay.
And she's so proud. She got an 8 out of 10 on a math test. She remembers holding that paper, smiling, feeling genuinely good about it, good enough to be excited to share it.
An initial feeling of pride.
But then as the story goes, something shifted, right? What was it? What turned that pride into the seed of an inner critic?
It was just 3 words. And surprisingly gentle words, actually, but devastating in their impact. Why not 10?
Wow. Why not 10?
Yeah. Think about that. This wasn't delivered with anger, no shouting, just quiet disappointment from someone she really admired.
That's tough.
How does a child process that? Hearing they're good enough isn't actually enough. A key insight here is how profoundly these seemingly small words can alter a child's self-perception.
It wasn't about the intention behind them, maybe.
Exactly. It was about the impact. It landed hard.
It really plants a powerful seed, doesn't it? That, perfection is the only acceptable standard. It sounds almost innocent, but the emotional impact can be so profound and lasting.
That's right.
She recounts that in that single moment, she started to believe that 8 just wasn't enough, that good only counted if it was perfect. And she vividly remembers thinking, this was the quiet internal beginning of my inner bully, just like that.
Absolutely. And once that seed was planted, that critical voice just grew louder and louder over time.
It didn't stay in childhood.
No. It followed her, as she says, right into high school, then college, then into her work. For years, she actually believed this voice was normal.
Like everyone had it.
Yeah, or maybe it was a sign she had standards, or that she was just trying to push herself. Good intentions, maybe.
But the reality was different.
The reality, if we connect this to the bigger picture, wasn't healthy ambition. It was about internalizing this belief that unless I was perfect, I wasn't worthy.
That's a heavy burden.
It's a fundamental cognitive distortion, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So many of us grapple with it, this idea that our value is tied purely to our output, our performance, rather than just our inherent worth as humans.
It's such a brutal cycle. Believing you have to be strong all the time, that rest is somehow lazy, that mistakes mean you aren't trying hard enough. Totally. And this internal pressure, this constant striving for perfection, it eventually became unbearable for her. Our source describes a specific pivotal moment where everything just kind of broke. A normal Tuesday, she calls it, that she'll never forget.
The normal Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What exactly unfolded on that day that made it so unforgettable?
Well, she recalls this unrelenting pace. My calendar was full, emails were waiting, people needed things, just constant demands.
Mm-hmm. The usual chaos.
Right.
Yeah.
And that internal mantra just kept pushing her. You can handle this. Keep going. No lunch, no break. Didn't even stop to take a proper breath, apparently.
It's just Push, smile, deliver.
Push, smile, deliver. Exactly. And then around 3 p.m. on that normal Tuesday, the dam just broke. She found herself ducking into the nearest bathroom, locking the door.
Oh, dear.
And not sobbing loudly, but that quiet, exhausted kind of crying.
I think we know that kind.
Yeah, when you're just too tired to even fight anymore. That was it.
We've all been there, haven't we? That moment where just sheer exhaustion overwhelms everything else.
Yeah.
And what's truly heartbreaking, really, is that even in that moment of complete vulnerability, that inner critic was still there, still kicking her while she was down.
Exactly.
Ugh.
While she sat there, eyes red, probably shaking a bit, that harsh inner voice came right back. You're weak. Everyone else can handle this. Why can't you? You should be stronger than this. Like an internal assault.
Right when she was at her lowest.
And that moment led to this profound, almost shattering realization for her.
Yeah.
This isn't strength. This is survival without care.
Survival without care, that's powerful.
It's a key insight, isn't it? How often we mistake relentless self-punishment for resilience, for strength. They're not the same thing at all.
Not at all. And that insight is so critical. She describes standing up slowly, washing her face, and then looking in the mirror. And she didn't look strong or confident. She didn't look like the person she was pretending to be outside that door.
Right. The mask was off.
Exactly. And for a moment, she almost repeated the old criticism, you look awful, that familiar pattern. But this time, something stopped her. A softer voice inside her just kind of whispered. It interrupted that brutal, familiar loop.
And this is where the narrative really shifts, doesn't it? It's a significant turn.
Yeah.
The profound takeaway here is that transformative self-compassion often doesn't begin with, grand gestures or resolutions. It starts with a single, gentle interruption of that ingrained self-criticism.
Just stopping the usual script.
Precisely. The first truly kind sentence she spoke internally in years was, "You're not weak, you're tired.
Wow.
You've been holding too much for too long." She just stood there apparently, completely taken aback, because she had never said anything like that to herself before, ever.
It must have felt so foreign.
Absolutely. This unexpected feeling of, self-compassion was quickly followed by another gentle thought. You're not broken, you're just human. And it's okay to feel like this.
That's huge.
It's that moment you choose a new internal narrative, however small, however quiet, that creates the little crack, as she calls it, for kindness to actually enter.
And what's so crucial to understand here, I think, is that this wasn't some dramatic fix. It wasn't an overnight transformation.
No, not at all.
As she put it, it was like I had opened a little window, just enough for some light and some kindness to come in.
Tiny opening.
Yeah. This quiet, small moment in a bathroom with just one sentence that didn't hurt. That was where the journey of cultivating a kinder self-love truly began for her.
Not with a journal or affirmations, not yet anyway.
Right. It was simply a shift, a tiny shift in that internal dialogue first. So, okay, what practical steps did she take then to expand that little crack of kindness into her everyday life?
Good question. Let's get into that.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because from that initial whisper of kindness, that little crack in the wall of self-criticism, she began to build some new habits.
Right. It wasn't just the one moment.
No, these weren't grand gestures, but really practical, simple, yet powerful everyday practices. Things that allowed that kindness to actually grow. And slowly, gently, they changed the way she saw herself. She literally started to retrain her internal narrative.
Indeed. And it really demonstrates that fundamental, lasting change often comes from these small everyday habits.
Yeah, the little things add up.
They really do.
Yeah.
As the source emphasizes, these practices were simple, but they helped me change the way I saw myself slowly, gently, and honestly. It wasn't about some immediate, drastic overhaul.
No quick fix.
No. It was a consistent, compassionate effort, much like building any other skill, really. This highlights principles you see in, say, cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yes.
Small, consistent changes in thought patterns leading to significant emotional shifts over time.
So what was the first one? One of these habits was a morning mirror reflection, right?
That's right.
Every morning, before checking her phone or rushing into the day's chaos, she would just look at herself in the mirror.
Just look.
Yeah. Not to judge, not to fix anything, just to see. And she'd consciously say one kind sentence out loud, or sometimes just internally.
Okay. Like what?
It might be something like, you look tired today and that's okay. Or maybe, I'm proud of you for just getting out of bed. Simple things.
Wow.
Or even, you're enough even if today is quiet. She admits it felt really silly at first, maybe even a bit performative.
I can imagine. It might feel awkward.
Totally. But the consistency doing it day after day slowly, genuinely, led her to actually start to believe it. It shows the power of consistent positive self-affirmation, even if you're initially skeptical.
That makes sense. And another profoundly impactful habit was her nightly proud of journal.
Ah, yes, the tiny notebook.
Exactly. She bought a tiny notebook, nothing fancy, just enough space for like one line.
Keep it simple.
Right. Every night before sleep, she wrote down one thing, big or small, that she was proud of from that day.
Exactly.
Sometimes it was significant, I helped someone today. Other times, maybe something she was afraid of, like I answered that message I was dreading.
Oh, that's a good one. We all have those.
Definitely. And sometimes, perhaps profoundly, it was something as seemingly small as I rested and I didn't feel guilty.
That's not small at all.
Right. That's huge for many people.
Mm-hmm.
This practice is a beautiful example of cognitive reframing and also a simple gratitude practice, in a way.
Oh, so?
Well, writing it down made it real. It solidified the small victories. And reading it later reminded her she was continuously growing. Not perfectly, no, but gently and honestly. It shifts the focus from what you didn't do to acknowledging what you did manage.
Okay, this next one. This really hits home for a lot of people, I think. She also discovered the transformative power of saying no.
Ah, boundaries.
Crucial.
So crucial. For years, she had said yes to basically everything. Out of fear, maybe, that people wouldn't like her or they'd think she was selfish if you said no.
Very common fear. But she had this realization. Saying yes to everything was saying no to myself.
That's a great way to put it.
So she started small. One no at a time. No to things that just drained her energy. No to things she realized she was doing only out of guilt.
Obligation.
And even no to people who, only seemed to call when they needed something. She admits it wasn't easy. In fact, she said it was terrifying at first.
I bet. Setting boundaries can feel really confrontational initially.
But she found that every no was a quiet yes to myself. It's a classic example of setting healthy boundaries, isn't it? A cornerstone of self-care that we often overlook.
Absolutely. Essential. And finally, another key habit. She started actively talking back to the inner critic.
So it didn't just vanish?
Oh no, not at all. The old critical voice didn't just disappear overnight. It still came sometimes, with those familiar refrains like you didn't do enough or that wasn't perfect.
Look at you falling behind again.
Exactly, those greatest hits. But now, she didn't just listen passively and accept it. She actively replied.
What did that sound like?
So, to you didn't do enough, the response might be, maybe, but I did my best today.
Okay, gentle but firm.
Yeah. To that wasn't perfect, the reply was, it doesn't have to be perfect to be valuable.
Ooh, I like that one.
Right. And to looking you falling behind again, the retort was, falling behind is part of being human.
Humanizing the struggle.
Precisely. This practice, sometimes called thought challenging, it gradually softened and, as you said, humanized her inner dialogue. It wasn't about silencing the critic entirely, maybe that's not even possible, but about giving the self-compassionate voice a fighting chance.
Making it a dialogue instead of a monologue.
Exactly. A dynamic exchange rather than just that constant monologue of self-blame.
Okay, so as we bring this deep dive toward a close, we really want to talk directly to you, the listener. Especially if you're the one who's always trying so hard, who helps everyone else, who keeps pushing even when, your heart feels heavy. Our source offers such profound reassurance, and I want to share these words directly. You are not broken. You are not behind. You don't have to be perfect to be loved.
That's powerful. And what's striking here is how this whole journey really redefines what self-love truly is. It dispels so many common misconceptions we have about it.
Like what?
Well, self-love is not selfish. It's definitely not arrogance. It's not pretending to be strong all the time.
Right. It's not about puffing yourself up.
Not at all. Instead, as the source beautifully puts it, it is simply this: speaking to yourself with the same care you give to others.
Wow. That's simple.
Conceptually simple, maybe harder in practice. But it raises an important question, doesn't it? Why do we so often reserve our deepest kindness for other people, but not for ourselves?
It's a good question. We wouldn't talk to a friend the way we talk to ourselves sometimes.
Never. So remember, you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to feel proud of small things, like simply showing up today. It's really about recognizing and honoring your own inherent humanity.
So, as you go about your day, maybe after listening to this, what's one kind thing you can say to yourself today?
Just one thing.
Yeah. You don't have to say it out loud if that feels weird. You don't even have to believe it fully just yet. Just try. Say it gently. Maybe whisper it in your heart. Maybe something like, I'm doing my best. Or I am enough even when I feel unsure. Or maybe just, it's okay to be where I am right now.
That one sentence.
Yeah.
It might just be the start of something new for you.
A possibility.
It's like a quiet revolution, really. A way to cultivate the same compassion for yourself that you probably so readily offer to the world around you.
So here's a final thought to consider. How could embracing the simple principle, just speaking to yourself with care, how could that profoundly transform not just your internal world, but also your capacity for kindness towards others? Because honestly, when you're truly kind to yourself, it frees up a remarkable amount of energy and compassion to extend outwards, doesn't it?
It really does. It ripples out.